Hi folks, this is Danny at Bradley James Classics, and today I'm bringing you a rather lovely example of a well-loved car from European Ford, and that is of course a Ford Cortina Mark V. Now technically speaking, there wasn't really ever a Mark V, there was really more of a Mark IV facelift, and therefore you'd probably be better calling this a Cortina 80, but most people call them a Mark V Cortina. Now, it's an absolutely stunning paintwork, and of course this car is terracotta. It's a lovely period colour for the Cortina, and the previous owner absolutely adored his classic, and he treated his car to an extremely expensive bodywork restoration, and I know there's an invoice for the order of about £6,000. So do expect to see a car that's been painted to an extremely high standard. It's all rock solid underneath and undersealed. And when you see the car, it's one of those cars that I can assure you it looks as good in real life as any photos or video. I will go around the car very slowly with a camera, and I will try and point out any imperfections in the paintwork, but it was done in recent times, so yeah, I think you're going to be in for a treat. For example, just look how good this seal is under here. They're never like that unless they've had some restoration, of course. Now, the car is registered in August 1981, and the significance of that means this car now qualifies for historic tax class, which means it will be tax-free when the car's registered as an historic vehicle, but it will also be MOT free. That's because it's now over 40 years old. Who would ever think it? The GL model is very nice to have. Most of the cars of this era, we see a lot of L versions. It's lovely to have a GL. Bradley James Classics does have quite a thing for these Cortinas, and we've sold our unfair share amount over the years, and so we know the difference between a poor, good and excellent one, and we also know how they should drive. Now this car is ready to be your everyday working classic. It really drives extremely well, and on my advice, the owner in which we're selling this car for, he's an older gentleman who's quite local to us. I drove out to see this lovely car. I gave him some advice on some stuff that we would like to do before we sell it, and I'm delighted to say that the new owner will benefit from a full service, which does include a cam belt change, and also the front brakes were repaired. It's got 4 Falcon tyres, so they're pretty good tyres, and obviously that's 4 matching new tyres. The car is exceptionally clean. It drives really well. I've just taken it for a drive before I've come here. We've just put it through our workshop, and I can vouch for the car being in very good order and ready to go. Now, sadly, there isn't any sort of old service history with the car, even though it does retain its original handbook and driver's guide, which is nice to have with these cars. We don't have full service history from the early days. We've only got the more recent stuff. So it's showing 35,000, but for those in the know, the odometers were quite light on digits back in the day, so we don't really know if it's a genuine 35,000 or is it 135,000. It probably should be the age of the car. It could even be 235, but generally speaking, there's other telltale signs of a high mileage car which this does not have. So we can't warrant mileage. All we can say is that the car is showing 35,000. If you look back on the MOT history, if you look back a good 10 almost 15 years, the car only had 23,000 miles then. So there is a possibility that it's been tucked away, but we don't know for sure. I promised you that we were going to have a close-up look, and we're going to start on this near side rear wing, and this paintwork is excellent, as is this rear door, and that's down at a low level as well. There's no sort of black Tetra seal painted seals in this case. Nice door gaps, Excellent deep shiny paintwork. This terracotta is such a stunning colour. It's lovely to see one fully repainted. Chrome bumper, little overriders on the front. I'm being super fussy here, but there is a crack in that front number plate, but not so bad it caused any issues with an MOT. And if I get close up on here, we got a bit of a crack in this wrap round bumper section, but nothing too devastating. Excellent near side wing, excellent bonnet, as are these panel gaps. Look at this valance across here, and the paintwork is a rich deep shine, and it's absolutely across here. It looks as new, the paint. It doesn't even look as if there's a stone chip. Very solid through the doors, and the sill all look absolutely excellent. Good panel gaps again. And now we're at the offside rear wing. We've got a little addition of I think there was a period alarm fitted here, and there's only one or two imperfections I've noticed. One of them is there's a little chip in this lamp unit here, and it looks as if there's a little bit of a ripple here in this chrome bumper, but certainly nothing too devastating. And look, there's the rear valance, all looking beautiful. A lovely shine through that bonnet, boot I should say. And we're back to where we started. One of the wheels, the Ford Sports steel wheels, has got the beauty ring missing, and that's on the other side. We've got the rather nice vinyl roof, which of course would have been a nice addition on the GL model back in the day. It's usually the posh versions that had the vinyl roof. It's fairly common to see them on the gear model, for example. Not all, but I think it was an optional extra. Now this is a 1600 overhead cam Pinto engine, the 4-speed manual gearbox. Another real nice feature of this car is how good it is inside. Now, being the GL, you do get you do get more plush seats. These are more of a, perhaps more of a gear style. Good door cards. The seats are in good condition. You've got a center armrest here. These dark brown carpets are all original and they're in excellent order. And you do have the benefit of seat belts fitted in the rear, and it looks as if there's a lap belt in the middle as well. So for those of you taking passengers, you can do that. The gentleman did leave a little pad here, which he used to put in the small of his back in the driver's seat, but he's asked that to go with the car. Let's have a look inside. It's nice that this is in good order, because generally these can get a little bit folded up, but that's lovely. They would have done that when they repainted the car, I think. Stick that back on. Now we've got our GL. You got the same sort of wood like you'd have on the gear model. This particular one has a 4-spoke steering wheel, which is a feature of the GL car, again like a gear. Some rather plush door cards with matching brown velour and a pocket. Manual windows, but a little remote switch here to adjust the door mirrors. I'm going to jump behind the wheel and I can run through the dashboard with you now. Very pleasant in here. The seats are in excellent condition. They did have a habit of getting a little baggy, but these ones are in very nice order, and the GL does have that lovely spec. Door cards in excellent order. There's no sunroof model here. The headlining is all present and correct, in good order, as is all the plastic on the dashboard. Very nice here, all in very good condition. Now, it's a 4-speed manual gearbox. The GL does have a little bit of an underslung console. It looks to have its original period radio, just long wave, medium wave, but it looks really good in here. Now what someone's done, I think there was usually a little empty pocket here. Someone's popped inside a little rev counter, which is fitted just in that hole. There's a thermometer. Look how warm it is today, my word. And that's where the ashtray is. So this is all rather nice condition. There's another key here, so it does come with 2 keys, and there's the console through to the handbrake. Now I believe the gear model you'd have had an extension, and you'd have had a little more, but this is what the GL had. All the fan switch gears working fine, cigarette lighter, heated rear window. Now no rev counter as standard, but we do have a clock in the middle, but we've got a rev counter down here that someone has retrofitted, and this is quite a common addition to cars of this era. Those who remember can probably think back to all those years ago when they're trying to start their Cortina. It did rely on a heating system on those Weber carburetors. So what we had was quite common is a manual choke conversion. Just makes starting in the winter a little easier. This car does start and run really well, set up lovely, and that's the rest of the speedo. You see what I mean about the 35,000? That's what's showing. We can't be sure, and it looks like we've got a working clock. So inside, very pleasant. People always ask me about looking underneath the bonnet, so let's do that. And back to its condition, this would not look out of place, especially with this beautiful bodywork and lovely interior. It wouldn't look out of place at a car show. It's not by any means a concourse car. That was never the intention of the owner. He used to enjoy it, driving it, loved it just how he had it. If you wanted to take it to the next level, then people love to detail things, and you could certainly spend some time underneath the engine bay area here, and you could replace a few clips and paint a few things. That's what people like to do on the show circuit, but it's nice and honest under here. It's got a large Bosch S5 battery which aids good starting. It looks to have a electronic ignition fitted. We have servo assisted brakes. There's no power steering on this particular model, and there's that very familiar Pinto engine. This looks like it's had a big noisy alarm fitted at one stage, but I believe that has been disconnected. And there's the carburetor, all in rather good condition, and we've got a foam air filter rather than the standard large round Ford one that goes here. There's the sound deadening which you've got on the GL model, and the inner wings have been painted up the terracotta. There's aspects of the car that's a little more original under here, but it is nice and honest, and you can see that underneath the slam panel it looks as if it's had a bit of brush painting. Here's the little sticker that talks about the 23rd of the 6th 22 at 35,000 miles. So it's just had a Gates cam belt fitted, which is a great thing to have, especially if there's any doubt as to whether it's had one, and it had that recent service. That's down with the bonnet. So I'm going to do one final walk around this Cortina and just remind you that it's a 1.6 GL from 1981, a 4-speed manual gearbox, exceptionally nice bodywork, having had a very expensive professional restoration of the bodywork. It looks lovely. A rare colour, the terracotta, quite unique, with a combination of a brown vinyl roof, the correct specification steel sport wheels, a new set of Falcon tyres all round, MOT through to October 2022, I believe. So lots of MOT. Obviously it's now MOT exempt, so that becomes optional. The car is standard. That MOT only really can be exempt if the car is standard. It doesn't apply to heavily modified cars, or this one certainly isn't. And the car does present extremely well, and having just driven it, had it on our ramp in the workshop. I can vouch for it being a good, solid example that drives really well. Well, folks, please get in touch if you'd like to come and see this car. It's with us here in the North Hampshire countryside in Overton. It'll be a pleasure to show the car. It drives really nicely, and if you're looking for a nice solid Cortina that's maybe a little different from the others in this terracotta colour, then this car could well be for you. I'm very happy to recommend it. It really is a lovely car. Well, thank you for bearing with me for 15 minutes as we've looked at this Cortina together. This is Danny at Bradley James Classics signing out. Thank you for watching our video today.